Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday. It is May 13th, 2021. This is a conversation with Dr. Dan Matthews, and this is our 15th call. And for future reference, this will be the file number, if you want to listen to it later, is number 303. And my name is Linda Starr. I am I think the world's very first productivity coach. I may be the world's first coach, period. And I'm in Houston. And if you have a question for Dr. Dan, you please text me at 713-622-8900. 622-8900. And I just want to announce up front that the next call we're going to have will be on Thursday, June 24th, 2021. That'll be the Thursday before the June blessing on the 27th. So having said that, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Dan. It's all yours.
Thank you very much, Linda. I'm very honored to be speaking this morning to the wonderful people that are plugged into this, and it's always a joy to share information of the ascension process and holy divine healing that I've been involved with now for 25 years, and I'm still in the same hierarchy of it as I was when I started. I'm a servant, and I love being that way. I think that's probably the most distinguished job position you can have, is serving others, and I'm very blessed that I get to serve others by doing the will of their inner holiness for them. That's what my gift allows for, and I wouldn't get to first base if it didn't give me every answer. And so it's all about being willing to show up in life and be vulnerable. It's kind of like hanging by the seat of your pants out off of a limb, off of the edge of a cliff. You have to be willing to do that in order for the process to unfold. And after many years of experiences in that, I just kind of do it second naturally. I don't really even think about it. I just show up and do it. And my thing is to be beneath people's feet, a good position for a servant, and the divineness of life will just start flowing, and it'll tell me what to do. And that's kind of what my gift is based on: showing up and taking a step and trusting. That's what it's about, and trusting the divine flow of life. There is an intelligence of life that makes the world go round. And it's far vaster than any human brain could comprehend, much less try to emulate. And our job in relating to this intelligence of the vastness of life is to trust it and to get in harmony with it. You gain the benefit of it. And I use the analogy of growing a vegetable garden quite often. And that is, you don't have to know what the seed knows to do that, And if you've got a green thumb, that's the very best that you're going to be able to do. Knowing when to plant, how to plant, and how to take care of plants, comes from education and experience. And but once you've got that down, the rest of it is an automatic process. And it's so incredible and so divine, and once you find a place in the natural flow of life that you can function, it feeds your soul, and you get real dedicated to the process. And every day that we're on this earth, we're purging more of our shadow world, but also we're getting integrated into this natural order of life that makes everything function. And it's so important to live your life being for some force of the natural world. If you're for the goodness of life, it will give you a free ride. It'll propel you. It'll make your life easy. You'll have a mighty force behind your step. when we live life being against things, that's where we get in trouble, and you'll get your battery run down. If you're living your life being against anything, it's a force that'll wear you down. And so structuring your life so that you're for what makes your heart sing is the very best anyone can do. And if you're there, I commend you. And the more people that kind of get into this process of being in harmony with the natural flow of life, the easier it becomes for those that are more skeptical or they think they got to figure it out and do it yourself. It gets easier for them to have their moment of truth and to come free, because it's definitely true that the greatest way to inspire others is to apply the truth to yourself and let them see what happens. And when people start asking, what are you doing? You're looking great and you seem to be on top of your life, and that puts you at a point of sharing your truth that it puts you in a power position to really influence others. So a lot of times I think it's best if we don't, and I tell my patients, when you leave here, don't go tell everybody what we did because they'll throw water on your parade. I said, you wait till they ask you what you're doing because you look different, you seem different, and you're elevated. That puts you in a position of power to share your truth. And so just kind of keep the cork in the bottle until that happens for you, and you'll get a lot better response and support from those that you want to share your truth with. I've been so blessed in my sacred path that, when people think the best and highest of you, it brings the best and highest out of you. And this is a lesson that we can all learn to enrich our life, is to call forth the good in others. And it has amazing effects. And there's good and bad in all people, and whatever you call forth is what's going to come out. And if you got negative feelings of someone and get in their presence, it'll most likely going to be a negative experience. But if you, every day, before you greet the world, tell your inner holiness to put a tube of light through and around you to shield and protect you from all forms of discord in this world, and then to go before you and bring out the very, very, very best and highest in all people that you think of and come in contact with. And you'll be a blessing to this world, and you'll draw goodness out of others. Well, today I've got a couple of things I want to share with you. I've been kind of upgraded here lately the last couple of weeks with what's next after the purge. The purge, the force of the natural world that's causing this purge to happen right now is going to be ending in September. And the next thing up after the end of the purge is raising the bar of our baseline. And I find that our baseline is about 9 things that are very much inherent in all people, and that is your emotions, your sexuality, your mindfulness, your karma, your pacification devices, your thankfulness, your desire, your truthfulness, and your manifestations. And these are the 9 components of your baseline. And what we're going to be asked to do as a component of our ascension process is to raise the bar of our baseline. In other words, up our game. And this will be the next thing that the next challenge we encounter as we wrap up the purging of our shadow world, which is really going great. And, the institutions of our world are in their purge right now. And that's all things of the first, second, and third paradigm, and that's going to be, the government's definitely doing it with the wildness in the political process. But all of that stuff is in the first, second, and third paradigm, and that's not going to be a part of the new holy order, and that's why it has to come up to come out right now, because it is not going to be allowed to go forth. And so all of these things have to be purged, and they'll be reset in the sixth paradigm, which is the entry level of the new holy old earth that's right around the corner. And just to give you an example of how different that's going to be, you know, our political process has been in the second paradigm. Well, that's when two dimensions of reality calculate into consciousness. And that creates duality, hypocrisy, and polarization. And the behaviors associated with that are things like robbing, stealing, cheating, lying, and politics has all been in that position. Well, and this next holy order, that stuff's going to the sixth paradigm. They have to purge out all of the second paradigm stuff beforehand. But the sixth paradigm, that's when six dimensions of reality calculate into your consciousness. That's the reality of consciousness of six dimensions. And what that creates in people is the ability to share a common reality, to be able to look at the same thing that's happening and see the same thing that's happening and have a shared unity and how to solve and resolve issues, and the ability to have experiences with others and have positive feelings as the result of that interaction. And just think how much of an improvement that will be over our present political process. And so we have a lot to look forward to as we continue to unfold back into our holy order. And this week's group healing, this Sunday at 2 p.m. Central, we're going to be bringing forth the six postulates of divine faith into the hard drive of the Trinity of humanity, the holy old earth, and the inner earth. And divine faith differs significantly to the way that you've been used to perceiving what faith is about. And, like religious faith, that's what faith is in the third paradigm. Well, that's about worshiping, it's about having faith and belief in worshiping a God outside of you. And that had its value. It raises people out of the first and second paradigm. But the third paradigm, it also has problems of its own. That paradigm, when three dimensions of reality calculate into consciousness, you have behaviors like gossip, condemnation, criticism, self-pity, being judgmental, self-righteous, and labeling others are the behavioral characteristics of the third paradigm. And that's a lot better than death, destruction, killing, and war, and robbing, stealing, cheating, and lying, but it's still not what you really want. So it's got problems of its own, and they've accumulated and built up over time, and that also will be purged, and faith will change from a belief process to a trust process. And I tell people all the time, you got to trust your inner holiness from the get-go. It has nothing to prove. I said it's people that has to earn your trust. And typically for me, when people demonstrate they're trustworthy, then I trust them. But I'm a little dubious of that until I get that demonstration, just from past experiences. But trusting in the divine flow of life, trusting in your inner holiness, these are, and being able to do that is what divine faith is. Having divine faith allows you to trust in the holy order of life. And this is going to be our task, to get this into the hard drive of the new holy old earth, of this Trinity of humanity, the holy old earth, and the inner earth. And so that's coming up Sunday, and this deals with integrating the celestial bodies of the 9 clusters with various aspects of our own consciousness. And so it's going to be really phenomenal. We're going to, there's a star for every soul, and our soul star connects to our conscious mind. and our collective of mass conscience will connect to the 6 billion plus Earths that are in the 9 clusters of the all that is of the Holy O. Our Christ consciousness will connect to the 15 galaxies of this cosmos. Our cosmic consciousness will connect to the 763 cosmos of this universe. Our goddess consciousness will connect to the 62 million plus universes in the 9 clusters. And then our androgyne consciousness will connect to the 9 clusters of the all that is of the Holy O. And this will allow us to bring forth our demonstration of divine faith. And so this is another layer in the tapestry of bringing forth an infrastructure of the Holy O into the Trinity of humanity, the Holy O Earth, and the inner Earth, which is right around the corner, and we're building it every day as we continue to purge our shadows. So real interesting that we're kind of working on both sides of things. All right, I think I'll pause there and see if there's any questions about what we've spoken about so far.
Well, I'm not showing any questions yet. I was going to say, would you slowly go over those 9 components? Because it was so fast, I could only get 8 of them written down.
Okay, the 9 baselines. Yeah. Our emotional state of being is one of our baselines. Our sexuality, our mindfulness, our karma, and our methods of pacification so that they're not self-destructive, our thankfulness, our desires, our truthfulness, and our manifestations.
Okay.
Yeah, and our manifestations, they more or less tell our truth. And because it's a system that's hard to kind of manipulate, and it all starts with our attitude. Is it programmed by the beliefs of our negative ego, or is it programmed by the knowing of our inner holiness? And that will determine whether your thoughts and feelings are holy or negative, and that will determine the choices and decisions you make in your life, and how that aligns with the laws of life determines your manifestation. So pain and misery is the indicator that your linkage has got error in it. And if you can manifest that which glorifies your inner holiness and benefits all, yourself included, and makes loving feelings into life, that is the bullseye. That would be a fantastic manifestation to prove that you're on track. So manifestation is an important one also. Okay? Did I say those too fast, or did you get them all?
Oh, I have them all now. And they're at 16 minutes is the first time you went over them in the recording, and then again at 24 minutes. So if people want to rewind back to listen to them again, there you have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, raising the bar of our baseline is upping our game. And, coming forth with a more focused effort that is indicative of these 9 baselines that we went over and improvement in them. So, there's lots of steps in ascension, and you just start where you're at and proceed is the best way to do it.
All right. I have a question. So this daily tube of white light that you install that every morning? Do you do it like as you start your day, or?
Yeah, it's a real good starter of the day, is to, you have to kind of reconnect every day. The sun comes up and it goes down, and then you kind of got to start over with some things. And centering with your holiness is one of those things that requires a daily, dedication to. You can change it up. It doesn't have to stay the same. And whatever it morphs into for you is fine. But, cleansing yourself in every which way you do that, and then putting on your tube of light, is kind of a real necessary thing you do, kind of like you get dressed to go out into the day, and putting on your tube of light and having your intention set for bringing forth the best in all people is a wonderful way to brighten up the day for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's...
I understand the easiest way to install a new practice is to link it to something that you already do automatically. So that would be a great one.
Yeah.
To tie it. I mean, we do get dressed every day. We do take a shower every day. Where, it's like you could just visualize have the white light come in through the water in the shower and contain you, and then go forth to everybody else. That'd be good.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, you can link all that together, and but it really is powerful. I've known about it since I did the studies of the teachings of Saint Germain, which is the last series of lessons that I did before I had my trip to the other side of the veil in '94. That's when I had just finished those up, and I got so much out of those books. They were really awesome. And back then, there were like 14 of them, these green books, and by different ascended masters and lords and beings of that nature, and they're just really awesome. They're really good to teach you all about the I Am, which is the last step before you go into the Holy O, and so that's beautiful work. That's of the 12th paradigm, and that'll definitely be in the new Holy O Earth. So it's a good thing.
What was the title of that last book?
I don't know the name of it now.
Okay.
Back then, I think they've come out with 2 or 3 new ones since I've read them. There used to be an I Am sanctuary here in Little Rock. It's since moved to Dallas, and they sold all those books, so I had a local way to get them, but you can get them off of Amazon, I bet, or just Google I Am Sanctuary, and I bet it'll come up someplace you can find them. But there's a whole series of them, and I found great value in all of them. They were very inspiring and uplifting to me.
I think Pat Garcia located a source for that. If you're on the call, you could text it in and I'll announce it. Okay. Right. I have a question here. It says, right. Would Dr. Dan review what he said after describing our soul star connected to the conscious mind, and then Christ conscious connected to and we lost it. We went flying through that. So.
Yeah, okay, certainly. Yeah, so starting at our conscious mind and going up, our conscious mind connects to our soul star. And there is a star for every soul. And then our next connection, and next level of consciousness going to more conscious is our collective of mass conscience, and it connects to the 6 billion plus Earths that are in the 9 clusters of the All That Is of the Holy O. And the 6 billion Earths exist in all times, past, present, and future. And it's because they all exist right now that we can access other time elements doing healings and holy divine healing. But the collective of mass conscience connects to the 6 billion plus herbs. And the next stop up the ascension ladder is our Christ consciousness. And it connects to the 15 galaxies of this cosmos. The next step up is our cosmic consciousness. And its connection is to the 763 cosmoses of this universe. And then the next step up is our goddess consciousness. And it connects to the 62 million plus universes in the 9 clusters. And the next step up is our androgyne consciousness, and it actually connects to the 9 clusters of the all that is of the Holy O. And that is our divine matrix. All of those put together, that's the celestial breakdown of the 9 clusters. And we have aspects of our being that are represented in all of that, actually over and over again. It's just quite amazing. You know, our pulse, our divine presence, is a hologram that's based on the omniverse. And then, I lost my thought. But and our spirit body of our divine feminine is a microcosm of the cosmos, and our flesh body of our soul is of this earth, and it's the pulse and the energy field that make it living, and all things of this earth are in the form of fractal codes. So our flesh body's expression is a fractal. So you got fractals, microcosms, and holograms being the 3 expressions of our Trinity of our soul, spirit, and presence. And that's how the natural world expresses itself, is in those forms. And so it's all integrated into us. And so it's really quite phenomenal that we got separated from all of this when we became human. We became a tenth of what we was before. And now it's time to get reconnected and to become our holy order once again, that not only has a knowing consciousness, but understands all of life. You know, that's the purpose of our shadow world, was to acquire understanding by investigating the 3% of our being that's different through the consciousness of belief, which allows you to separate because of your differences. And that's really been what the whole shadow world was based on, was investigating and exploring the differences of our being and acquiring understanding about all of that. And it was determined that we needed to have a fuel of belief to do that most efficiently. So that's what we've been doing, and the bigger picture of life, it all has purpose, and there is a reason for it. So it wasn't just for naught. All right. Anything else?
So our soul, can you tell us something about our soul star that each of us has that's connected to our own personal conscious mind?
Yeah. You know, it all has to do with being found, you know, so that you feel at home and a part of the whole. And that's not common in human consciousness, where people are lost and they don't feel a part of the whole. They feel separated and isolated, and that's, you know, really the illusion of their belief. Having these connections reestablished, you know, allows us to become alive and feel connected that this is our home, and to have, great joy and happiness for the prospects of our divine expression. It's kind of the way we're built to be, but this human expression was an alteration of that so that we could acquire understanding to go with our knowing that we had. But the soul star and the connectedness to the celestial bodies and being connected to the North Star, the cosmic host, is very important. And that's come forth in several different connections in our new holy order. And so it's really important that we have our connections with the celestial outlay of our holy matrix in order to function in our fullness as a divine being. And so our soul star and our conscious mind, it has that importance, and it is that link that allows our consciousness to participate in the unfoldment of creation. Okay?
Right. New subject, the ascension keys. Would you tell us what are they? Why do we have them? How do we utilize them?
Yes, I will do that. Okay. Ascension keys came forth as a result of doing clearings. And when you clear things, you create a void, and if left unfilled, that void will attract something undesirable as we process ourselves through the shadow world. And that's one of the three purposes of an ascension key. Their purpose is to heal what you've cleared, to fill the void of what you've cleared perfectly and completely, and to interface all blessings of higher consciousness required to create holy, pure perfection and the place of what it was that needed to be removed. So it has a very divine function, and it provides a very valuable gift of ascension by filling the holes as you clean things out of them. And there presently are 25, and each ascension key will have these elements about it. It will have a feeling, a paradigm, a light ray, and some expression of a celestial body. It could be a cluster, it could be a constellation, and a few cases of stars. The North Star is involved in the 17th ascension key. And so each ascension key has a feeling, a paradigm, a light ray, and a celestial body. And that's what you're putting back into place of what we clear out. That's a part of your shadow. So that's what that's all about. And would you like for me to go over a few of them?
I love it.
Okay. The first ascension key, the feeling is passion. Passion consumes abused. It is of the 999th paradigm, which is the crystal of absolute knowing. Its light ray is the clear octave sandstone crystal light, and its celestial body is the ninth cluster of the nine cluster of the all that is of the Holy Oak. And the second one, are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
The second one, the feeling is truthful. Truthful consumes destruction. The 69th paradigm of divine intervention consumes all feelings and expressions of destruction. The light ray is the clear yellow quartz crystal light. And the 62 million plus universes in the 9 clusters.
Okay. I'm going to ask Kathy if she would text me the numbers that she's missing, because she has about a dozen of them at this point already collected that we were going to take and put in written form for people to use. So, Kathy, if you would just text me the ones you don't have, then we could get those on the recording and we'd all have them. Maybe she's not here anymore. Okay. So, how would I use the ascension if I'm clearing something? How would I deploy them? Like, what's the application in my daily life, either with a client or?
Well, that seems to be an individual thing. They were given to me as a tool to fill people's voids, and the first person that wanted them from me was my friend Cosima out in New Mexico. And Cosima is a very seasoned veteran in metaphysics, and she just has a way of utilizing them. And I don't know that it would make any sense to anybody else. So I think it's just kind of one of those things that your inner holiness has to direct you on how to utilize them in accordance to the gifts that you do. And but there is a way that people can use these that do other things. And like always, I always want to share everything I have because it was all given to me. And if it can help somebody else in their sacred gift, I give it freely.
I have a question. So, I mean, those of us who are coaches and, we clear people all the time, given that we don't have all the details and the ins and outs of this, how effective would it be just to generically say that I'd like to now install whatever ascension key and its components that are required to fill this void? Would that get the job done, or do I have to go through the whole litany of the feeling, the paradigm, the whole bit, the light ray, the expression of celestial bodies? I guess that would be better than nothing.
The way that my thing works is you get one ascension key for each clearing I do on you, each healing. And but I don't know that applies to everybody. Again, it's kind of like that thing about the green thumb. If you can just connect with your process and let it show, tell, and lead you on what to do, and just make them available and see what it says.
Okay. Two things. Dr. Dan, can you get a little closer to your microphone?
Okay.
You're drifting away a little bit.
All
and
right.
What I'm getting is we really are being forced to go internally and get our own direction and to stop looking outside, stop looking for you to tell me how to do it for my life.
Yeah.
So, okay, I get it. Follow your own.
To help as much as I can, but there's a point that you have to step up and take, let your inner holiness guide you and direct you. It's an easy thing. It's about surrender, yield, and trust, and that's a whole lot easier than having to make it happen.
Yeah.
So let it be, try easy.
Barbara's saying she uses all of the ascension codes every time she does a clearing session for someone. And she said she was told how to utilize them.
Awesome.
So I guess it's just another matter of ask and it will be given.
Yeah.
And listen.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll give you a hint on which direction you need to go with it. And,
okay. She says her inner holiness does it for her. So, I don't think the very least we could do is just I request that my inner holiness select whatever appropriate ascension code is required here and deploy it. So I mean, there is a line in the Bible that says if you clear out one devil and you don't put something in its place, that 7 more will move in. So it sounds like what that's pointing to.
Yeah, I never heard it explained like that, but I do understand that if you don't put something in its spot, it'll get contaminated.
Well, it said the universe hates a vacuum. If you don't put something in there, it will.
Yeah.
So.
And the universe is home of the shadow world, so it won't be good. Yes. Let's see. All right, Linda, anything else?
I'm not getting any questions here this morning. We must be all knowing at this point. How about that? Well, I can announce that this Sunday, May the 16th, 2021, Dr. Dan is doing a blessing, and the place to, if you're not getting an email to announce it, the website to go to is holydivinehealingstore.com. And if you wish to make an appointment with Dr. Dan for a private session, you're going to have to call him directly at 501-416-1996. 501-416-1996. And he will leave him a message, tell him you want a private session. He will leave you a voicemail with some available times. And so be sure to listen to that before you call him back and tell him which one that you want. Okay, we did get another question. It says, would you share a few more of the ascension keys for us to meditate on today?
Certainly. I'll just see. I think we did the first two, didn't we?
We did the first two.
Okay. Well, let's do the third one. The third one is the feeling of fulfillment. It consumes rejection. And the 15th paradigm is the reality of consciousness, of cosmic consciousness. And that is the consciousness of your inner divinity. And it creates your enlightenment and the actualization of your divine expressions. The light ray is the clear rainbow crystal light. And the celestial outlay is the 763 cosmos and the omniverse. Every omniverse has 763 cosmos. Every cosmos has 15 galaxies. And there are 62 million omniverses in the 9 clusters. And those ratios are always the same. Okay, and our fourth ascension key is the feeling of love. And love consumes selfishness. And it's just the sixth paradigm is the reality of consciousness, of shared agreement, and having positive feelings, loving feelings in this case, as a result of experiences in life with others that consume selfishness. And the clear emerald crystal light, emerald is the love light, and 15 galaxies of this cosmos. The fifth ascension key is the feeling of peace. Peace consumes dominating. And the 12th paradigm. The 12th paradigm is the reality of consciousness of your I am. And to be of I am is to have a functioning telepathy body. And 101 rays of O-light and the 6 billion plus Earths in the 9 clusters. All right, that's the first 5. Would you like the schedule for the group healings for the rest of the year?
Oh, we'd love that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we got June, the 27th of June,
Mm-hmm.
the 18th of July, and that'll put our July phone talk on the 15th. And then in August, the group healing will be on the 15th. Our lecture on the 12th. And September will be the 12th. Our talk will be on the 9th. In October, we have 2 group healings, the 3rd and the 17th. So we'll have our talk on September the 30th for the October the 3rd group healing. And then our 17th group healing, we'll have our talk on the 14th. And then in November, we'll have our group healings on the 7th and the 21st with the phone talk like today on the 4th and the 18th. And that'll wrap up 2021.
Okay, that's good to know. We can put that out.
Wonderful.
Get it on our calendars. Right. So our next call will be on June 24th. So if you want to make a note of that, and then of course we are going to have the blessing this Sunday at 2:00. So you're getting it all taken care of. taken care of.
Yes, we're getting it done.
Was there any? I know you said the purge ends. The purge ends in September. Did you get any other information about whether it's going to be tapering off or just an abrupt? Okay, that's over. It's done. I can wash my hands and be finished with it.
Well, the energy from the Holy Old that is driving the purge will cease in September. Now, how people are going to respond to that will be varying, I'm sure. Like, everything is always different with people. And we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. And hopefully the virus will be leaving with it, because it's really been a tool of the purge. It's created lots of change. And, the only way we get to ascend is by changing. We don't get to ascend by staying in our comfort place that we've been in for eons. And so that's why everything has to change. And the pandemic has been a source of change. It's changed our world tremendously. And that's the nature of it. To upgrade, you have to clean the house, and the purge is a house cleaning. So that's what we've been doing, and we've been cleaning out millions of past lives of shadow world stuff in 6 years. So it's been pretty intense, and we all get weary. And everyone has a shadow to purge. I don't care how precious your gift is. You get to do both. And in fact, people that have big gifts usually get to purge first, so they can go help other people get through that part of the process. And it makes you weary sometimes, and you have to go vanilla in your life, unplug from media stuff, especially internet stuff. The things that get you riled up, you got to take a break and let that stuff go. And so to kind of find some balance in your life and not let yourself get overloaded. That's really important that you take care of yourself by, being able to control the intake of what it is you need to help yourself be stronger and more balanced. And you can only change things so fast, and you don't want to put yourself in a healing crisis. So don't go, bananas on trying to purge yourself. Let the natural process dictate it to you. Okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm curious if someone could actually turn on the news and, hear a disturbing thing, but not get upset, just simply be in a really charged, neutral mindset and hold it as, that's just whatever it is working itself out, and without getting all wrapped up in it and excited or going into drama. Would that be an indication maybe you're getting more free of it?
Yeah, it definitely would be. And, when you're in your balanced and centered, that would be a normal thing that would happen to you. But if you start getting overwhelmed and weary because it's been a long haul, that's when a person needs to back off from all that. But when you're strong and charged up, you'll be able to do exactly what you were saying.
Okay. There's goals. There's something to look forward to.
Say that again?
I said there's a goal. There's a place to work toward where you can watch the evening news and not get, all dramatic and upset over it. Just go, oh, okay, this is what life looks like when it's working itself out.
Right. And, it's, to me, what's apparent to me when I watch the news is how the reporting is always done from a devil's advocate point of view. It doesn't matter who's talking, they're always going to take the devil's advocate point of view. And so it's always like they're trying to pick a fight and keep things stirred up. And you know, I get tired of that. I just kind of want to know what people are saying, and without them doing that to them. And so I get to where I get frustrated with the nature of the news and their method of being the devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. It distorts the message. You know, and you know, especially if I was there and saw something live or heard it live, and then to hear their spin of it after it's over with, I'm never in agreement with them. So it's like, what's a troublemaker? I just soon disconnect from all that and just.
Well, there's always a different. I only have my own perception. I'm only looking at it from where I stand.
Yeah.
I don't see what it's like when I think of the Texas border and immigration. It's like I'm on the liberal side, so I have my feeling, that we need to let these people come in here and let them perform these jobs that most of us aren't too interested in. But then my Republican friends have a totally different look at it. They see it from another entire perspective about what that we need to have strong protected borders and we need to limit the number of people. And then there's another perspective of the immigrant who's fleeing either abuse or gangs or whatever, or just economic lack to have a better life and raise your family. So there are at least three different perspectives to look at this border situation from. And my tendency is only to see it from mine. It's like let my yard man back across the border. The grass needs to be cut, please. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a problem that's going to require, the bipartisan support to correct it, and nobody seems to want to do that. And so it's the mess it is. So it's just kind of another dysfunctional aspect of our government. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay. I have a message from Barbara just texted. She said, this purge has been very intense for me and all of the people I do sessions for. I've had to step back and take a break and let the Holy O heal me as I proceed to take on more. They show me and tell me how to proceed. I have to stay in ever closer connection with my inner holiness. That's a good way to approach this. It does look like that's it. We're just really getting it. They just keep hitting home to don't look outside for answers. Go inside for answers. Go inside for your answers. Learn to tune in and let it unfold through you. That's what I hear. Okay, well, I believe we're out of time. It's 11 o'clock, so I'm going to turn our recording off. This is number 303 if you want to listen to it again. It's pretty jam-packed.